Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 100. I'm Barry Thier. Thanks for joining me here in the studio today. Unfortunately, my outsider is away sick today, so we won't be bringing you the history of Smith's Chips. Well, I hope that you get better soon, Cass. But today on the show, I'd like to talk about the importance of hand hygiene and looking after our health when sick. Now, this is a bottle of hand sanitizer here. Okay, you see that on your screen there, and you can pick that up at your chemist or supermarket. So, also today on the show, the importance of not keeping seafood out. But I will get to that at some point today on the show. Okay. Looking after our health, guys, even at the toughest of times, okay, we must look after it and get on top of our health sooner rather than later. It's like fixing your car, isn't it? So, if you're sick, what would you do? Would you go to the doctors? Get some medication for it, for whatever illness you have got. It is very important that we look after our health. I've got a special guest joining me on the show this morning. I'm Hitachi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining me
Thank you.
on episode 100 today. What are your main points about looking after health?
Looking after
The health.
health. Yeah, I guess one thing is hygiene, like as you mentioned, hand hygiene, and nutrition. What to eat and when you eat.
So that's another thing we'll be talking about today on the show, is watching what we eat.
Yeah.
Now, everything in moderation, guys, but I will get to that shortly. Now, sickness, we must get on top of our sickness sooner rather than later, and not coming to work if you've got something infectious,
Right.
like gastro or a cold or flu. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, well, it's probably important not for yourself, but for everybody, because if you are infectious, it's not good for community, so it's very important for everybody to stay home and get better before coming back to work, I think.
And go to your doctor as well if you need to get a certificate. And if you're gonna be there sick on the day of your shift, whether it's a morning shift at accommodation or a day option service, please give the manager plenty of notice so that he or she can find somebody to replace him or her. Don't bring up at the last minute, please, because it will be too late to find somebody to replace you And if you're not well enough to stay at work, please do go home sooner rather than later.
Sure.
Yeah, here's my offside.
Yeah, it's probably a very good idea. Right. It's the COVID situation is stable now, but it's still, the virus is still going around. So probably it's important to, if you are sick, it's good to do the right thing early and see a doctor.
And also, email your site manager or text your site manager if you are unable to cover your shift and cancel any appointments that you have made, okay, because it's important, okay. And which brings me on to very nicely, I'm watching what we are eating, okay, because we may have eaten something that might not agree with us, like some dodgy chicken or pork or beef or lamb or some hot vegetables, drunk some hot milk, or eaten something that has been out of date or out in the sun for too long. So that's another way of getting sick. Okay, so another thing, guys, check your use by dates and best before dates on your cartons of milk, bottles of milk, even ice cream and packets of cereal, whatever, because if it's out of date, guys, please bin it. Here's my offsider.
Yeah, sure. It's very important for your health. That is food hygiene. And what I might add is like if you're cooking meat, it's important to cook it properly, in particular chicken. Make sure it's properly cooked, and you use a particular cutting board and knife for them and properly clean it so that we prevent cross-contamination.
Okay, and change gloves also.
Yes, that's right.
And wear gloves also if you are going to be assisting clients with food, but I will talk about that on the future show. But please, guys, if you are opening cans, okay, like tuna or salmon, okay, put it in a container, label and date the contents, okay? The date that you open the can and what it is. Don't cover the can with Glad wrap. Put it in a container, okay? And that way you won't get cross contamination. Here's my offsider.
If you get the things out of can or original package, and it's good to put in a container, and a clean container, that is, and then label it. And also, if you have a leftover food, put it in a plastic container, and then it's a good idea to say when it's cooked, when the package was opened. And so, yeah, that's something I can think of.
And throw anything that is off out of date, guys. And the same with milk too.
Yeah.
Do not ever drink contaminated milk or water because it can make you quite sick.
Right.
Okay, and you end up probably in a hospital. So please, guys, that goes for the seafood as well. So please watch.
Sorry.
So please be careful of what you read about that might go up quickly. Here's my outsider.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted. So you're talking about.
And with the milk and seafood,
Right.
the milk and seafood and
Yeah.
tuna and all that,
Yeah.
please do not leave it out in the sun
Yeah.
or leave it in the
Sure.
fridge
Yes,
or out of the fridge, I should say, because it's not good. Please
yeah.
be food why the milk rice,
Yeah, sure.
please, because it's the only way you are going to prevent getting sick.
Sure. Yeah, like the milk and seafood gets bad very quickly outside the fridge in a room temperature. So yeah, I agree, it's important.
So please, watch for what you are eating too, which brings me on to the next subject. Don't have too much takeaway food like fish and chips if you're not well. Stick to a bland diet like crackers, rice, toast, mashed potato, toast and honey, crackers and Vegemite, broth, okay, but nothing oily, spicy or fried. Here's my outsider.
It's I guess it's the individual things. Some people like spicy food, some people can eat lots of spicy food and some people can't, and you might have a sensitive stomach. So that's another thing, like if you're not used to spicy food and lots of chili, you might be careful about it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you go to a takeaway joint,
Yeah.
like a fish and chip shop or
Yes.
an Indian restaurant,
Yeah.
tell the staff about your dietary requirements, guys, because it is really important.
Yeah. Lots of food has a dairy, like Indian food has a dairy, like something like a butter or cheese, and gluten. Some people have a issue about having a gluten food, so we should be careful what's in the food.
So, and ask how long the food has been sitting in the takeaway outlet, such as chicken, because that, if the chicken's no good, please bin it, don't buy it. The same with the curry or fish and chips, because the fish and chips may have been fried in old oil or something. And that's another way you can get gastro.
Right.
Please, be careful, guys. Here's my outsider.
Yeah, you absolutely you do your best, but that's a good point. If you get the food from a takeaway place, it's where they are like doing it for their business, but it's not perfect. Meaning you could possibly get food poisoning. So. Anyway, just be careful, and also like I think New South Wales Health inspect shops and which one is good, and so we might just check which one is important, which one is safe. And then on our side, we do our best to avoid problematic food.
And ask the shop attendant, is the seafood fresh? Is the meat fresh?
Yeah.
When you go to buy a kebab, okay, because if the meat is awful oily, too oily, please do not buy that.
Yeah, I agree about food. I had a really bad stomach once because of the oil they used. Either oil was too old or the quality of oil was bad. So yeah, that's another thing to check. Yes.
So, and the same if you go to buy a cappuccino at the coffee shop too. Ask whether the milk is fresh.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, okay, please ask the attendant to put milk that is not out of date. And the same with the long life milk. The lactose-free milk, soy milk, okay? And when you go to buy food for lunch, please also ask, is the cheese okay?
Right.
Or the butter that they've used, or the cold meats. So this is the advice we're giving to you today on the show.
Right.
Here are some ways of preventing gastro. Sanitize your hands, clean all work surfaces such as your bath, your shower recess, your toilets, your bathroom sinks, your benches, your door handles, and use separate chopping boards for chopping foods.
That's right.
As we mentioned earlier. So, and drink plenty of fluid, avoid dairy and fried food and acidic food like tomatoes and oranges and lemons.
Okay.
And stay home until your symptoms stop and go and see a doctor if you get worse. Here's my outsider.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Yes. Yeah, it's oh my God, sorry. So I just kind of went blank. Yeah, so yeah, like the as I said, like the yeah, the oil is probably be careful about oil or maybe too much oil in food, and yeah, just yeah, it's a good point that Barry mentioned that to use a separate tools for cooking different things, and yeah, I agree with what you said.
So, go to the doctors if you get worse,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Okay, look after yourself, please, because it's very important. Don't forget about it. Tell your site manager if you're not feeling very well, and go home sooner rather than later. And the other point that I mentioned before is please phone in earlier rather than later if you are sick or unable to come into work, so that the manager can find somebody to replace you, okay? Because it's very important.
yeah, that's right.
And well, I have you all watching here today on the show, or that is just tuned in, get your temperature checked
Yeah,
as soon as you enter the building, because this is a must that you must do that. And if your temperature is too high, guys, please do isolate until your temperature goes down. But if your temperature is too high, guys, please leave the premises immediately. Here's my outsider.
yeah. It's this has become very important since we got the COVID, because one common symptom of COVID-19 is having a fever, and so we check fever when we get to this place, or if you are really sick at home, you might check temperature before coming here. It's probably even better. And if you have a fever, high temperature, just don't come in. That's good for everybody.
And stay home and isolate, guys, because it is really important. Okay, and like I just mentioned a moment or so ago, please make an appointment with your doctor. But if you can't get down to the doctor, organize a telephone call with your doctor, okay, and he may be able to give you some advice over the phone. But if symptoms are serious, by all means, please do call 000.
Right.
Because, like, if you're having trouble with your breathing, or you've got asthma, and it doesn't improve, by all means, please do call 000.
Right.
Well, my closing sequence, my closing message today is But thank you everybody for watching the show today. We usually bring 3 subjects on the show today, but we're just doing 1 this week. But hopefully my outsider will be back on the show next week, and we'll be able to bring you the history of Smiths, of Cody Sorry. So I said the wrong thing at the start of the show. It was Cotty's, not Smiths. So I do apologize about that. So, in ending the show today, I'd like to say, for those that are not well, please do get better soon. And for those that are moving on, good luck and welcome to those that are about to start. And on that note, guys, it is time for us to say good morning to you now. Atashi, thanks for being my special guest on the show today. So I will catch you next week on the show. And I will catch you all next Tuesday morning on the show. And Cass, if you are watching, I hope you get better soon. Thanks for your company this morning, and I will catch up with you all next week. Have a good rest of the day, everybody. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching.